Welcome to another edition of Arizona Wildcats Insiders Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Hutchison. We are getting close to the college football season. Arizona kicks off this season in just 11 days as the Wildcats open up their year against the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Chris McAllister days away from the start of the season. The Wildcats are in the middle of training camp getting geared up, and they have 61 new faces on the roster, new faces on the coaching staff, as Brett Brennan and Noah Fafita try to turn things around after an underwhelming 2024 season featuring an Arizona team that started off 21 in the AP poll and then ended 4-8, losing 7 of their last 8 games and missing a bowl game by 2 games. And to be honest, it really wasn't that close. Again, there were some games that got away from them with Texas Tech and West Virginia, but overall, that losing streak was tough for the Wildcats, and now they're trying to get everything reorganized, revamped, and re-geared for another season under Brent Brennan. New offense coordinator Seth Dagey takes over for Dino Babers. Dagey spent 1 year at Marshall, where he had the 20th ranked rushing offense in the country, despite being a air raid guy coming from the Mike Leach system. Danny Gonzalez takes over as defense coordinator, being promoted from linebacking coach to defense coordinator and taking over for Dwayne Keena. Now, last year, there's just a ton of injuries offensively and defensively that led to some issues. Arizona started behind the 8 ball, and this year, the coaching staff and Brent Brennan have a new mindset to training camp. He talked about how during the 2024 training camp season, they felt like they had to kiss everybody's ass to keep them on the roster. And that's a direct coach from Brent Brennan, trying to keep guys happy and making sure they weren't transferring with Washington, Michigan, UCLA, Alabama, all opened up for the transfer portal with coaching changes there. And it was tough for Arizona. They had to keep them entertained. They had to keep them engaged with the program, so they couldn't be as hard and as, I don't want to say demonstrative, but as tough as a college football coach should be. And it led to some issues throughout the year. So now they're in the middle of training camp. We've seen a lot of good, some bad, but it's clear this team's moving in the right direction. We're in the last half of training camp here before they start prep week for Hawaii. The week of the game, they're going to, focus on just the Rainbow Warriors. And at this point, to be quite honest, they know their depth chart. They know who they're going to start. They know who's going to be the backups. Maybe a couple positions here and there, like the kicking and punting, they're not quite sure about. But overall, this coaching staff knows exactly who's going to be playing in games. Now it's time for game install and getting everything ready for the season. I think you're going to see a lot of different looks these next couple of weeks as they get ready for Hawaii. I think it's going to be a little bit different from the first part of training camp, and this is going to be more game preparation this week and next. So, mind you, though, Hawaii plays during week 0. They host Stanford at home, so Arizona fans can catch that on the 23rd as Hawaii hosts Stanford, and then Iowa State plays Kansas State in a Big 12 showdown in Dublin, Ireland, to kick off their season. That is Arizona's 3rd game of the year as a non-conference game against the Kansas State Wildcats, and then their 4th game of the season on the road at Iowa State in Ames, Iowa. So you get to see those two teams go to battle before Arizona plays them, and you get to really see how they're matching up with everybody else. Some things that they were trying to fix from last season, takeaways. Defensively, Arizona was okay, but then injuries plagued them. They got worse as the season went along, with walk-ons and freshmen that weren't ready to play, having to play in serious minutes and serious games. And it hurt. Those snaps hurt them. And last year they ended with 16 created turnovers. That was 77th in the country nationally. That's okay. It's not good, though. It's not good. I would say it's a little below average, especially for a defensive-minded program like Arizona historically. You want to create more turnovers. So Danny Gonzalez has already stated they're going to be aggressive. They're going to be getting out there in the backfield. They're going to be looking to create havoc with the quarterback. And I see this defense being that type of, not sit back and wait, but go out and create chaos type of defense. So that 16 number, I think, is going to change significantly. I think you're going to see guys like Genesis Smith have big interception numbers. I think you're going to see guys like Trey Smith, some fumble numbers there. Tay Brown coming up big. Ball hawking guys like Dalton Johnson, who play both in the passing and running game, come up with big turnovers. And I think the marker that you're looking for, if you were to create 2 a game, that's 24 turnovers per game. Well, 24 turnovers for the season, 2 per game. I think that's where kind of you want to be if you could create 2 turnovers. So increase that number from 16 to 24, 25. I think that's going to be the key for Arizona to succeed this year defensively. I don't know if they have all the horses ready to go on the edge of the defensive line. I question that position, but they got some dudes in the secondary. They got some dudes at D tackle, and they have some talent at the linebacking core, and they have a defense coordinator in Danny Gonzalez that's out to prove something in terms of he could be a great defense coordinator again. He was great at ASU. He was great at San Diego State, and he was a good defensive coach at New Mexico. Just as the head coaching part just didn't come around necessarily at New Mexico, but he's one of the best defensive minds in college football. So I think he is going to be creating havoc, creating turnovers, that Rocky Lawn style play. Arizona fans, Dick Tomey would be the comparison in terms of creating chaos. So that is one thing that has really stood out this training camp is tip passes, winning tip drills, punching out the ball, and creating havoc in the backfield. And I think Arizona is going to create those turnovers. Look for that 23 to 25 mark to be the mark this season for the Wildcats. And then Alexander Deuce. This guy was built like an ox coming from not New Mexico, but Northwestern. Freshman, didn't really know what to expect from him, and he grew each game. Did he have his growing pains? Yes. There were some games where he was getting owned on the line of scrimmage, but he's one of the strongest players on this football team. He's as strong as an ox. He's got a more athletic, more agile. His footwork's better. His understanding of what Brennan and the coaching staff want has increased, and I think he's going to be one of the better linemen, not only for Arizona, but one of the better linemen in the Big 12. With his progression, he could be a second, third round draft pick in the NFL draft in a couple of years when he's eligible. I think it's another lineman that you've had Jordan Morgan, you had Jonas Havanay, and now you have Alexander Deuce. Now he is not of that ilk, but he is developing really nicely. And I think as he continues to progress and continues to be that highly intelligent football player that he is, that's going to be huge for the Wildcats and pay off big dividends this season for Arizona. Then lastly, I want to talk about Michael Dansby. Arizona has 2 corners coming over from San Jose State. Michael Dansby had a very successful career with the Spartans underneath Brent Brennan as well. He stayed 1 more year. And he talked about, Ken Niumatalolo being a very good coach. He loved playing for him, but he wanted to go to a Power 5 school after being at a Power 4, a Group of 4 school. The rest of the previous time. So he comes over to Arizona. There's a lot of familiarity. Chip Viney, Brent Brennan, some of the staff, and he has had a great training camp. Traden Stukes has been working his way back, and that's opened opportunities as he continues to get ready, and he's on pace to being ready for the season potentially. But as he continues to get ready for the season, it's opened up opportunities. And Michael Dansby has been a really consistent corner. Has gotten beat. Yes, it's going to happen, especially at the college level. Getting beat as a corner is going to happen. But he's been able to punch the ball out when there's a jump ball. He's been able to punch the ball out in traffic, swat the ball out, win tip ball drills, create turnovers, and has been solid in the running game. He's very athletic, has good length, surprising length, and has a good first step. So I look for him to maybe not start. I don't know if he'll start this year. Again, there's a lot of talent in that defensive back room. So saying who's going to start at corner 1, corner 2 is a little tricky to say right now, but man, is he progressing. And man, is Arizona deep at the corner position and the defensive back position. But it's going to be exciting to watch Michael Dansby. I don't know if he's related to Carlos Dansby. I highly doubt he's related to Carlos Dansby. But, that number 25 has been really fun to watch. in training camp thus far. I'm excited to see what he can do this season. So be sure to follow us for more training camp updates as we get you ready for the 2025 college football season. Check out our website, Arizona Wildcats on SI. Follow our Twitter account at Arizona Wildcats on SI, or follow me on Twitter at THutch1995. Again, that's Troy Hutchison at THutch1995, and we'll see you again next time.